So today, for this 3D Printing Thursday video, we're going to be doing a Kronos overhaul. We're not going to be doing any actual modifications. I'll probably open this back up later and do the 6-shot mod. Other than that, this is going to be kind of like a loner Kronos slash English is hard. We're going to be doing a loner Kronos slash HVZ sidearm to my Perseus. That's right, I have a Perseus. No, I haven't played with it. It's a Perseus, and you've seen what that does. So there's your quick review of what the Perseus is. But today we're focusing on this Kronos. So I have been patiently holding on to this Kronos for last like 3 months in order to make this video. So we're going to grab this X-Acto blade, and we are going to finally break this thing out of the box. It's a brand new Blue Team Kronos, because Blue Team is the best team. Throw that box down there. Grab this. I'll get those rival rounds later. So, right off the bat, that's a lot of orange. Nothing wrong with orange, but we're going to get rid of all of it. Yep, you heard me. All that orange is being replaced with some silk rose gold PLA. So, up here at the front, these two pieces right here are by CyanAce off of Thingiverse. So you actually have to print both of them. This is the front plate that will replace this here, but as you notice, that would leave a gap because of how that goes. So you print out this piece, and I think it goes like that, and it will replace that right there and fill in that gap. Okay, so that's the first part on the list. Next up is the Sling mount, which is just a replacement. It's near identical. I've installed all of these on another Kronos, so I know that all of them are going to fit and they're all going to work just the way we need them to. But yeah, so this is just a replacement sling mount to give it that nice shiny look. This is by GstoeGabs on Thingiverse. I don't know how to say it correctly. GstoeGabs. I don't know how to say it phonetically, but that's kind of it spelled out. Says the sling mount. Here we have a Picatinny replacement for the rival rail up there in the front, and this is by DK David 721 underscore 3DK on Thingiverse. So David's really cool. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting him in person, so it's actually kind of funny that I use some of his parts in some of my builds every once in a while. Run across his files on Thingiverse, and they're pretty great. This is by ShootingFoam. It's a 2-part piece that you print and install to replace the safety. Because I take out all the safeties on my Kronos because they're just an extra piece that most people are just going to mess up anyways. That's one thing I've definitely learned both from having Lunar Blasters and from watching Detroit Dart Talk videos, is that these safeties are really annoying if someone doesn't know how to use them and then they think they broke something, or they don't know how to bypass it. And then all of a sudden the trigger's not working and they don't want to mess something up. So that'll just cover up that hole and make it nice and flush with the blaster. This one is a drop-in Kronos T-pull by DAIHAU on Thingiverse. DAIHAU, I believe. This one, you need a little bit of support here, and even then the bottom comes out not so pretty, but that's okay, because it's actually my favorite T-pull that I found, because it literally just goes right in and you take out the 2 plates that are in their stock on the Kronos. That's not comfortable. We're going to remove all those locks and make that a little bit smoother. But you get rid of these 2 plates that slide out on the Kronos, and this will go right in there. And you actually see it will go right in these holes as well as another anchor point. Next on the list, we have a low profile Kronos priming grip, which will slide right on here at the end of the build, by Flygonial. Flygonial is another person that makes some really great stuff. I used his taller one on my other Kronos, which I'm going to grab real quick. This one is near identical. It is just, the only difference is literally this is the taller of the 2. So this is the 6-shot mod in this one, and then all the identical parts that we're going to be installing in this next one. Yep, so this one's by Flygonial, linked down below as well. This is a really great print, probably one of my favorite out of the group, because it just looks really nice. It's a lot of nice design work. And this one didn't require any supports. So this one is actually a remix that I made because the original person that made it, it was a 2-piece file. Unlimited Bacon on Thingiverse. I believe his was a remix of the one by BEARDLAND, so I'll link both of them below and mine. But they're it's a split file normally, so I took them in Tinkercad, put them together, and grouped it, so that way I could just print it straight up. I know it won't be as strong as printing it this way, but I mean, it's a Kronos trigger. If you're breaking it, then chill. I don't know what else to tell you on that one. And this is just a generic speed loader port, which I can't find where I got the file from, but I'll have it linked down below, and I'll probably put their name right here on the screen. Again, sorry about that one. I guess I forgot to save it and do my listings. But yeah, so hopefully I'll be printing out some speed loaders to match both of the loaner Kronoses. Just for, beginners, Kronoses are really great, and I might put this one in with a 10 kg spring like I did on my other one. My other one hits about 110 FPS with the 10 kg spring. Alright, so we're going to go backwards again, and I'm going to tell you how I printed them. So this one, I printed laying flat, like this. I would suggest going and putting support right here, because this is actually slightly elevated off the print, and it'll have a really, really rough finish if you don't put some supports on it. Other than that, it's a very simple print, maybe 20% infill, if that. I mean, you're not going to be doing much with it. You probably won't even be opening it, because you can just feed the balls right through. Flygonial one, no supports necessary. You print it flat on the build plate, and it'll bridge right across fine on those sections. With the T-pull, you're going to want some supports here. I had supports here on the first one I printed a long time ago, but it ended up just being a pain to get them out, so I didn't put supports here. It's a little bit ugly, but it's going to be on the inside of the blaster, and you won't see it at all. The safety cover, you're going to print this one flat like this, no supports whatsoever, and this little peg, doesn't matter which way you print it, you're just going to print it flat. And you can do most of these prints actually could probably all fit on a print bed at the same time. I printed them individually for the most part, though. The Picatinny Rail you can put like here, and then you can put supports if you want for this, otherwise it'll be a little bit scraggly, but it'll still be functional. My first layer lifted a little bit on this corner, but thankfully this will be on the inside of the blaster again, so it won't really matter that that's a little bit bent, because the rest of the print came out pretty good. This piece is going to be printing like here, and you actually, if you print mine, then you're going to have to put supports. If you print the split one, you don't have to put supports. The reason being is that this is slightly elevated due to that right there, if you can see it. So you can print it like here, and then put supports, touching build plate. Supports touching the build plate are my favorite. They just do very, very well. A lot of the time you don't need supports on all these little holes and stuff. Those will literally print fine. So getting supports out of those would be more of a pain, and there's no real reason to have them. Okay, up next, the sling mount. You're going to print flat, no supports needed whatsoever. It's going to come out just fine. It's a little bit rounded, but no need for supports at all. Same with this one, no real supports needed, because this is on an angle, there's no flat face on it. This is just going to go straight down. A little bit of problems right there on my first layer, but this is back when these are some of the first prints I did on my glass bed when I got it back in December, so I was still getting used to the adhesion, and the silk filament kind of sticks to it a little bit weird. This one, again, no supports, is going to go laying flat, just like that. So a lot of these things you can print without supports, and even though some like this one you might think you need supports, it's really something that you acquire over time, is knowing when you need supports and when you don't. Alrighty, so I had to go and grab the bolts that I had for the Flygonial grip. I don't remember exactly what type of bolt they are. I want to say they are an M3 bolt, which, let me grab an M3 that I have. My bad, it is not an M3. That is an M4 bolt, okay? So if you are looking to get the hardware for this grip, you can use it without. It'll just slide around a little bit depending on the tolerances of your printer, but that is the only hardware you need for all of the parts that are going to be in this video. Okay, so first part we're going to install, now that we've done majority of our prepping, is we are going to go ahead and grab this one, and I'm going to install that way the glue can dry while I'm installing the rest. So this will go right over here. Press it down a little bit, make sure everything's lined up, and there we go. This piece, you're supposed to use the existing screw that came out of the shell, but what I find is that the piece is actually too big on the inside, and so the threads don't lock on. Alright, so we're back with our Loctite super glue. We're going to put just a dot on this, make sure not to get it in our fingers. So a little bit of super glue. I know this is upside down, you can't see it, but I don't want all the shell screws to come out of the blaster. It's literally just super glue. So. And make sure to ask an adult before using super glue, because it can be very, very dangerous if you do not use it properly. My go-to is the Loctite gel glue, and when that doesn't work, I use some Gorilla Glue to lock that in, or CA glue as well. So this will stay over here and dry, and the rest of the stuff we can go ahead and begin installation. So we're going to start at the front of the blaster and move our way back. So go ahead and just lift this up a little bit. We can take out the front muzzle and the rival rail. That should be all the parts that we're going to take out of the blaster, so we're going to go ahead and grab them and get rid of them. They are going to go straight into the trash because I don't need them. Just make sure before you throw those pieces away that you keep the spring for your trigger. Get that back on there. Keep the spring, and then keep the pin for the jam door. We're going to grab this. So to install this, you're going to lift this up, just as I did to remove the original piece, and it should go right back down into place. Make sure that moves still and is in the right channel grooves, and then you're going to grab your rail and your gap filler, which will go in together. This piece might be a little bit more difficult. So kind of under there we go, and then this rail will go in right there, and boom, those are both installed. So as you can see, this is what I suggest to go first. You can do it actually any way, it doesn't matter. That'll kind of tuck up in there, and when we close it, it should keep these pressed together so that you don't really notice it. If you wanted, I guess you could glue it, but it doesn't really bother me enough for that. Moving on next, I guess, will be our jam door, which will go back into the original hole where the pin was, and then it should snap in here with this, and there we go. Next up is our trigger, which once you install a spring, you just tease it right in there. Go ahead and remove this. I forgot you do have to remove that if you're doing the sling mount as well. That will also go in the trash in my case. This one's a bit tighter. This is actually probably one of the hardest ones to install, which I kind of forgot. Yeah, so good. Force it on there. So if I were you, I would go ahead and just grab a pair of pliers like I did and install it, which we might have been better to do if we had installed the trigger afterwards. Go ahead and put the trigger back, make sure it actuates your catch up and down properly, and you're good to go. Most of these mods aren't going to be affecting performance. Well, none of them will be affecting performance, but some of them are moving parts that you want to make sure are working well. So specifically this one, and then this one is, you probably won't be opening it, but you have that option if you would like to later on. Last thing to install before buttoning this thing back up is our T-pole, which we will just put right there. I thought I would like this silk rose gold a little bit better. It kind of looks okay on camera. I think I might paint this one to make it match a little bit better, because that blue does not look too awfully pretty with the silk rose gold. I was really hoping it would match a little bit better. I think the idea was better in my head than it really came out. Yeah, but it's really, this showcases the parts. The only difference between the two Flygonial priming grips that I have seen is that this one has a little nub to be like an iron sight with the back, because this one has that iron sight feel on the back, but on the front there's no nub there. Other than that, they're near identical. But yeah, so now I've got two good loner Kronoses for the club to bring with me to wars. This one is a little bit harder because it's got 10K G and a better O-ring. But as you can see, those are the loading ports for the speed loaders, if I had any in there. But yeah, you could totally dual wield these with these priming grips. Didn't even think about it until now, but yeah, you could totally do that. That makes it a lot easier to dual wield them. I really like how the white one came out. I think it's a lot cleaner looking than the silk rose gold. Don't get me wrong, I love the silk rose gold filament. I just don't think it looks too good with the blue, with that much of it. Maybe if I kept some of the orange, but that's all good. I probably won't be running these, to be honest, anyways. Maybe for pistol rounds, you know, actually that might be not half bad idea, is to go double down with these. Something about priming two Kronoses at once is just very cool. But it kind of gives it that Night Finder draw, or any of those old school blasters that people would mod to have keyring pulls or something like that. What I really like about all the parts is that they don't require any shell modification, and even the T-pulls are drop-in. So these are really great for beginner modders if you just want to crack the blaster open and make something unique out of your blaster, because you're not going to be seeing someone running around with this, that's for sure. So, yeah, so I'll catch you guys in the next one, and hopefully we will keep up with these 3D Printing Thursday videos, because I'm really liking sharing some of the cool files off the Thingiverse with you guys.